Hello, my name is Krishtavare, and this is my second scientific paper report on the stimulation and control of E. coli by using an extremely low-frequency magnetic field. So during the past few decades, due to the increasing consumption of electric energy in industry, medicine, research, communication systems, and basically everyday life, the level of exposure of biological systems to electromagnetic fields has grown by the orders of magnitude over a wide frequency range extending from 0 to 100 gigahertz. So, for example, like hair dryers or electric shavers or electric hand tools, all of these, they expose the users to levels of magnetic fields several times just in their background life. So for the experiment, equal volumes of E. coli were exposed to magnetic fields for different periods of time, and the results indicated that magnetic fields did indeed have an effect on the microorganism's growth characteristic curves, where after 6 hours of exposure time, it was determined that there was a decrease in the growth of the cells, but after 16 hours, there was an increase in the number of cells. And furthermore, the magnetic field did have an effect on the antibiotic sensitivity. And it found that after 6 hours of E. coli exposure to the magnetic fields, the E. coli became more sensitive to certain antibiotics like amoxicillin, nalidic acid, and erythromycin, as revealed in the increase in their zone diameters. But after 16 hours, they became more resistant to the antibiotics. On top of that, it was shown that after 6 hours of exposure period, the cell length was decreased, but after 16 hours, the cell length elongated into a more lengthy form, but it also decreased the thickness of the cell wall, along with many of the cytoplasmic components disappearing. The aim of the study was to find the effect of different periods and frequencies of magnetic fields on the activity rate and growth rate of E. coli bacteria. But along with that, they were also investigating the antibiotic sensitivity and the alter structure of the exposed cells. So, in order to study the bacterial growth, a standard survival curve was plotted between the two different groups, the exposed cells and the unexposed cells. So the researchers determined that cells that were exposed for up to 6 hours experienced some sort of inhibition, while cells that were exposed for 16 hours experienced some kind of stimulation for the bacteria. These bacteria were exposed to a homogeneous magnetic field generated by a solenoid consisting of 320 turns from an electrically insulated 2mm copper wire wound in a homogeneous way around a copper cylinder that was 1.5 millimeters thick with a 40 centimeter diameter and a 25 centimeter length. 10 volumes from the strain were incubated for 18 hours and then exposed to different exposure periods. So, in conclusion, it was determined that the electromagnetic field of 20G affected considerably in the virulence of the E. coli cells. 6 hours exposure times was caused to create an inhibition within the bacteria, whereas 16 hours was enough to enhance the bacteria. Electromagnetic fields indeed may have an effect on the integrity of viruses and bacteria and could be used as a means of treatment for viruses in the future.